All right, a good Friday evening, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz, joining you for the second night in a row for a little special edition on 10 TV Plus. Last night, we got to answer some of your questions and have a little longer range look at the severe weather potential coming up for Sunday night. Some things are becoming clearer to us. Some things are still a little bit vague or ambiguous. So we're going to try and drill down to some pertinent details for you and give you some additional information. Bottom line, we're not just doing this because we can. We're doing this to keep you and your family safe. And that's one of the keys to the forecast is the weekend, really any time, but really the weekend. People are trying to get out. You've got some sunshine. You can see temperatures both tomorrow and on Sunday are going to be in the 70s. But the real challenge is going to be on Sunday evening and Sunday night. And really overnight Sunday into Monday morning. The main underlying issue is that most of the strong to severe thunderstorms are happening at night. That's a real complicating factor. The other thing is we're watching a few of those ingredients coming together on Sunday that might actually lead towards some stronger storms. So we're going to take our time, let this breathe for about 20 minutes or so, and give you the ability again to ask some questions. You can send questions to 10 TV Facebook page. We're monitoring that. And our operators are standing by to read your text messages. You can text them to 614-460-3345, and we'll get those in near real time. And if we don't answer your question, we'll try and go back and look at a few if they're a little bit late. But if I see a couple of similar questions, then we'll just kind of take the ones that would be the most impactful to us. So we're going live right now. We'll be with us for a little while. So we're looking at the breakdown of the forecast, broad brush, Saturday to Sunday, really the second half of the Sunday, the 10 weather impact focus for us. So as we look at the specifics, 7 o'clock to 2 a.m., that's really the window that we're watching. The reason we're watching that is because the potential for rain and wind and storms. Generally speaking, as you know, all thunderstorms have thunder and lightning. That's kind of a given. Check that box. We are looking at some significant heavy rain and also some wind, and that's probably the highest category, the highest threat would be some damaging or gusting winds with those storms on Sunday night into Monday morning. I mentioned that again. You'll hear me say it multiple times. The overnight impact of the storm just adds an extra layer of complexity to this whole situation. More of a reason we are 48 hours away for you to take this opportunity to be ready. Charge your cell phone, download the 10 TV app, make sure you have a weather radio. Now, if you've got a cell phone and it is programmed to receive weather emergency alerts, as long as it's charged and you can get cell service, you're going to get those alerts as that phone will be with you where you're at. However, National Weather Service radio, always a good fallback or a plan B or plan A for getting those weather alerts. So let's start with round number one. We're going to give you a little bit of detail about Saturday first. Waking up in the morning really warm, spring-like, May-like warmth Saturday morning, and touching off a couple of showers. Showers, not heavy, not widespread. This is not the thunderstorm event, but just letting you know because you're making your weekend plans. Just do our diligence here. Late morning through the middle part of the day, that area moves away. Midday Saturday, no problem. Afternoon Saturday, hopefully you, like many of us, where's the charcoal? Where's the gas grill? Where's the propane tank? Because it's probably one of the things you're going to be doing Saturday evening. A little breezy but dry and warm through 6 o'clock. 6, 7, 8 o'clock, beginning to see a hint of some showers coming back in. Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, Delaware, back to London, Bellefontaine, a couple showers there. If you're south and east of Columbus, you're probably going to be just fine. But by the time we get to the middle part of the night, look what's coming our way, a lot of rain. So much so that by 7:30 on Sunday morning, this is round number one, we're going to take this in several different steps on Sunday because it's pretty important. This round is going to lay down a lot of rain. We'll talk about amounts coming up in a couple of minutes, but just giving you the basic details and how things pan out. So this is around sunrise, the rain moving through, and by lunchtime, might see a spotty shower, but not looking that bad. Late morning, middle of the afternoon on Sunday actually looks pretty much like Saturday. We'll see a fair amount of clouds. It'll be pretty windy, winds gusting over 30 miles an hour or so, so it might be hard to keep that grill lit, but much of Sunday is tracking to be dry. Here's the problem. 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, it's not a problem for you because you're going to be enjoying some sunshine along with those warm temperatures on Sunday. It's a problem if this forecast plays out because the sunshine will actually add some warmth, and we'll talk about that in a moment, some instability, and that's one of the things we're watching as we look at these forecast details coming together. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, okay, it's 8, 9 o'clock that you begin to see that line of thunderstorms very clearly entering Ohio right now at 8 o'clock on Sunday, I should say. That's west of I-75. As we go through the next couple of hours, this storm is really going to mean business and move through at a pretty good clip, covering a lot of ground in about 3 hours' time. By 11 o'clock, as we're getting ready for our 11 o'clock newscast, and you're probably getting ready for sleep or to watch, and of course get ready for your week, we're watching that line still maintaining its integrity and dropping all the way through the state, really kind of Cleveland, Columbus, west of Chillicothe, and then east of Cincinnati. Now, it's not possible to tell just by looking at this. We're still, again, 2 days out of what exactly threat you're going to face where you live. We'll try and give you some of those details, but I'm just telling you right now, if you're asking me through the text message or through Facebook, hey, Jerry, in areas around Newark, what kind of weather are we going to see at 10 o'clock? you're going to see a thunderstorm more than likely, but I can't tell you if you're going to see hail, winds, heavy rain. And I will say it now, and I'll say it again, an isolated tornado is not out of the question, but it's not the primary threat. The atmosphere is shaping up to kind of keep more of a linear structure in the storms. Oftentimes this is wind or wind damage, hail, and again, the possibility for some very heavy rain. So let's move it along. Midnight to 1 o'clock Monday morning, that area almost exits the 10 TV viewing area. But behind that, not done, this is 4 o'clock in the morning. So you think you're going to get to sleep? Probably not. This also could carry a chance of some stronger thunderstorms. Columbus southward, right down 23, Chillicothe, Waverly, and Piketon. That area then moves to the east, and this last little line coming through, that's mid-morning on Monday. The only reason that's important, not because we're expecting more storms, but because that is a leading edge of a pretty big cold blast. 70s on Friday today, 70s tomorrow, 70s on Sunday. Monday, you're going to start off the morning about 60 degrees. But if you saunter out of the house Monday morning in a light jacket or short sleeves, it's going to be in the 40s Monday evening. So some big changes, not the focus of the 10 weather impact, but some big changes coming up on Monday. So 10 weather impact alert details for those strong storms possible. Sunday evening, we're targeting about 7 p.m. till about 2 a.m. We might move that 2 a.m. to about 4 a.m. as you just saw. That model data is painting a pretty rough picture for much of central and southern Ohio. High winds, possibly damaging winds, heavy rain, hail, all possibilities, and that's in the order in the threats. Wind and rain and hail. We're going to put tornadoes at the bottom of the list. With any thunderstorms, we just want you to be ready. We want you to stay connected. We talked about ways that you can do that. So those are things to keep in mind. The other thing we're looking at is the rainfall forecast. I'm going to step out of frame, but I'm going to be back in a second, Kyle. So just going to run this through. This starts Friday evening. The rainfall forecast really does paint a picture that is pretty wet. So we're going to look at, give me 1 second here to get my ducks in a row. Looking at the rainfall forecast. That starts this evening and really the next 48 hours. We're going to back it up and then move it forward for you. This goes through Monday morning. So this is all not coming at once. But I want you to focus on not necessarily Delaware, for example, 1.35, New Lexington 1.05, Circleville about 1.5 inches. What we're seeing here is just about everybody over an inch. And that's okay, but the problem is most of that's going to come overnight into Sunday morning, and the rest of that's going to come Sunday night into Monday morning. So on top of making sure your phone is charged, you download the 10 TV app, you've got your weather radio, make sure your sump pumps are clear, your drains are clear. I don't know about you, but the past couple of weeks, super windy. I've got stuff all over my yard, all over the drains. And as I'm walking through the neighborhood, I'm noticing a lot of that stuff from my yard and everybody else's yards are now by the storm sewers. So do yourself, do your neighbors a favor, go clean those out because we want everybody to be able to make it through this okay. We've seen worse rain in central Ohio, don't get me wrong, but it's probably a pretty good slug of rain coming in that we haven't seen in a while. That's on top of a couple of those showers we've saw today. So the ground isn't saturated, but it won't take much to have these rainfall amounts produce some problems across much of central Ohio. So again, this is Saturday, couple of showers, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then Sunday night, Monday morning through 10 a.m., the amount of rain that we expect. This will change. The exact location of the purple, for example, or up to 2 inches of rain, that's going to flex a little bit. But the thing that catches our attention right now has been the consistent forecast amounts of over 1 inch. So again, do what I just talked about, your diligence in keeping those drains and the sump pumps and everything else clear. So I'm going to walk back over to the Weather Center and I'm going to see what kind of traction we've been getting from some of our folks to what were the highest wind gusts from Katrina. Wind gusts tomorrow and then into the day on Sunday, just during the day, are going to be in the 20 to 30 mile an hour category. So that's one of the things that we're watching, of course, those wind gusts. But as we look at the potential for those wind gusts, they're mainly going to be something that we're watching in the thunderstorm activity as we get to the second half of Sunday and Sunday night. So we're going to look at something that provides maybe a little bit more of a general look, but something that we also look for the threat of some severe weather. This is the severe outlook on Sunday. Again, I'm answering your question, Katrina, in that the wind gusts, just regular gusts outside of thunderstorms, 20 or 30 miles an hour Saturday and Sunday afternoon. But this area that you see right now, especially the area in the orange, those are where we could see some of those stronger, more numerous strong to severe thunderstorms. And of course, the winds in those thunderstorms could be in excess of 50 to 60 miles an hour. Columbus, Cambridge, Marietta, much of the viewing area, expecting scattered activity. And a lot of this has to do exactly when that storm is going to move on through. So again, we're keeping that in mind. Yeah, Lisa, Marie, Sims, I hate overnight storms. They're scary. We don't like them either. And I mentioned this yesterday, and I'm not trying to be cavalier or be funny. This isn't fun for us. This is something that we do. It's our job. It's covering severe weather. We don't want to see severe weather and tornadoes any more than you do, just to be perfectly clear about that and put it out there. But it's our job. It's something that we're trained to do, and it's our obligation and our commitment to you is to keep you and your family safe while these storms come in, whether it's morning, noon, or overnight. Kaylee asked, do I foresee the enhanced risk spreading eastward? That's not our call, but you asked if I foresaw that. It really comes down to how things play out on Sunday. The Storm Prediction Center, who we get a lot of this information from, they put out a notice 24 hours in advance, and they also will fine-tune their forecast once or twice during the day. So I expect this will probably look very similar on Saturday. They're waiting to see some of the things that we're waiting to see. How much sunshine do we get on Sunday? How long does that morning round of rain last? If it lasts longer, that would actually suppress our severe weather threat a little bit. If it clears out early, we get back maybe maybe upper 70s on Sunday with some sunshine. That's a problem. It's good for you to get outside Sunday, but it's a problem for everybody else because that would strengthen the potential for those storms. So exact answer is a maybe on whether or not that higher level of risk begins to pan on through. Let's look at a couple of questions. As we question, overnight severe threat is concerning. Live in Dayton and still leery after the 2019 event. Will it be over midnight? That's Harvey in Riverside. Thank you for that question coming in on that phone number. You can text it. You don't have to download anything. You just shoot a text message, 614-460-3345, and we'll get those showing up in our queue or our questions. So keep that in mind. That's for a lot of really valuable information from 10 TV, but specifically this evening, we're looking at just answering some of those questions about the potential for a severe weather event. Overnight threat, will it be over before midnight? I think, and we're going to go back to this map for a second here and walk through this and kind of scrub a little bit. So bear with me. I'm not trying to make anybody nauseous, but it's easier for me to kind of explain it as I'm moving back and forth with the mouse. This is Sunday at, let's go 9 o'clock. That storm right now then is moving through, forecast to move through Dayton about 9 p.m. We're going to fast forward slowly, slow fast forward, 10 o'clock to midnight, 10 o'clock, right around Bucyrus, Marion, Delaware, Morrow County, Columbus. We're looking around Powell, over near Westerville, back toward Hilliard, and right now in downtown. That's 10 o'clock on Sunday night. That's after dark, but it looks to be the worst weather moving through Dayton, specific to your question. Let's go to 11 o'clock. That line still hanging together, 11 o'clock, and then getting past about midnight into the wee hours of the morning. Still, again, holding together. And again, we cannot derive exact thunderstorm threats and characteristics, but this is a pretty high resolution model. We talked about this yesterday. We're in the range of this high res model, and it moves that first batch east by 2 a.m. You also see this other area creeping up very quickly between 3, 4, 5 a.m. and then moving east. This one, you notice a very subtle difference. I'm going to step back into the key wall, Kyle, if that's still lit up. And that simply means I can kind of interact with this a little bit better. That first round that came through, that was a line, almost a solid line from 7 o'clock till about 3 a.m. And that's not uncommon, especially at night. Sometimes those thunderstorms can do that. And as I said earlier, and if you're just joining us, thank you, number one. And if you want to ask questions, you can do that, number two. On Facebook, 10 TV Facebook page, or text into that phone number below. The first line that comes through, that was more of a linear nature, and that has a couple of real fancy meteorological names for it. We're just going to say it's a line of storms to keep it simple. That generally will lead to, or could lead to, hail, very heavy brief rain, and damaging gusty winds. Because sometimes, as you know, just from being a casual or keen weather observer here in Ohio, those lines don't behave in straight lines. It's not linear, even though we're calling it a line. They behave differently, and there's some little characteristics. This second batch showing up 4 o'clock in the morning, a few hours before sunrise, is not a line. You do see a few pockets of some darker reds. And again, we're not actually deriving an exact location, exact intensity, but speaking generally, south of I-70, wee hours of the morning, this is a bit more of an individual cellular structure. So if I'm looking at this at first pass, I'm like, rough weather, Columbus, down toward Lancaster and Fairfield County, down toward Nelsonville, down toward Vinton County, then right down 23, Pickaway, Ross, and Pike County, and Scioto County. The worst weather from this looks to be this little bit of a surge, or this little bit of a bow, kind of a pointing out, and that will extend into northern Kentucky. So that, just appearance sake, is where the worst weather will be, and that's 4 o'clock in the morning and then moving on through. So again, this is one model. We've got a lot, but we rely on this one as it's a pretty darn good one. Then you'll notice right around 8 o'clock in the morning, we're not out of the woods yet. This is actually with the cold front itself, and as the name would imply, that cold front is going to blast in here and do some gusty winds and drop those temperatures pretty much all day long. Do you think Perry County will see a tornado or just storms? That's from Crystal. Answer that question, Crystal. A definite maybe. Again, we don't know the exact storm threats where you live. That, unfortunately, is not something, as far as the science is advancing, not something that we're able to pinpoint with any real high degree of accuracy at this point. We try, but that almost always is a 12 to 6 hour to 3 hour window, meaning by Sunday morning, and every one of these models is trying to do a good job of resolving the time, location, intensity of those storms. As we go in a little bit closer to the event, our models almost always do a better job of helping us pinpoint. Again, if we're getting a line of storms, as this particular model is indicating, I'm going to put it right over Perry County now. That would be midnight, Sunday night, into the wee hours of Monday morning. Just for appearance sake, this does not look like a singular or supercell type structure. This is more of a line of storms. So winds, probably, hail, perhaps, heavy rain, yes. Tornadoes, not likely, but the chance is not zero. So I'm not trying to be evasive in your questions, but that's the best answer that I can give you right now. So keep those questions coming. We'll be around for a few more minutes and looking at some of the potential for severe weather getting into the second half of the week. And if you're just joining us, we're going to kind of recap things and then we'll go back through some of the details for you. The weather impact alert that we've issued is in effect for Sunday night into the wee hours of Monday morning because of the threat for heavy rain, wind, and storms. And it's an opportunity, as we've said multiple times, to stay connected, stay tuned, be ready. You don't have to get ready if you are already ready. I don't know who said that line, but it makes pretty good sense in this situation. So I'm not going to take credit for it, but hopefully it helps you to be able to kind of think in that mindset. One other thing we're going to look at here, a rainfall forecast, and a rainfall forecast, and that takes us through Monday morning. You can see that, and that's why I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a couple of rounds of very heavy rain late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and again late Sunday night into Monday morning. The combination of those rounds of rain putting well over an inch across almost all of central Ohio. Not to say that flash flooding is not an issue, but since this rain is coming in 2 batches, I feel that while some poor drainage or low-lying flooding might be an issue, that while we're going to keep our guard up, right? We're not looking at a huge amount. We're not talking 3 or 4 or 5 inches of rain from these storms. So looking like coming in 2 batches might actually help us out. And speaking of those 2 batches of precipitation, we'll walk you through that quickly again. Starting tomorrow morning, we've got a few minutes left here. Any other questions? Thanks for all the info. You're welcome, Randy. Enid, how bad do you think for Columbus and what time in Sunday for Columbus? We'll get to those questions right now. Lisa Marie and Enid Gonzalez, thank you. This is Saturday morning. We're going to quickly move through this. 8:30 till about 11. Maybe a gusty shower around Mount Vernon and Coshocton. The rest of your Saturday is fine until we get till about 8 o'clock. Here's 8 o'clock on Saturday, and then we're getting to the real concern. This is some very heavy rain, some gusty winds, possibly some storms getting into Sunday morning. Stop at around sunrise Sunday morning. See that area pushing on through. Once that area pushes through, we'll see a pretty dry period coming up for most of Sunday until we get to Sunday night. Here we're stopping at 8 o'clock. Then we're going to 9 o'clock and then 10 o'clock. You'll notice that area is setting up shop right over Delaware, Mount Gilead, Bucyrus, and Franklin County around Dublin down to Columbus and then west toward London. By 11 o'clock, that line moves through. So to specifically answer your question, time on Sunday, how bad? I think it'll be bad. I think the wind gusts will be sufficient, possibly causing some warnings. Hail is a possibility and very brief heavy rain. That is 11 o'clock. Move it to midnight. And you see that line moving through now, Coshocton over toward Muskingum County, eastern Licking County, Perry County, Lancaster, Fairfield County, Logan, down near Hocking County, and then soon to be exiting Chillicothe, but then that means it's getting toward areas around Athens and Morgan County between midnight and 1 a.m. So that's a quick look at the timeline. The threats, as we mentioned in order, as I see them, would be wind would be a primary threat, and just general wind gust, 20 to 25 miles an hour, maybe up to 30 Saturday and Sunday. 7 p.m. to about 2 a.m., and that probably is going to go to 4 a.m. as we look at some more models into Monday morning. The threat will be from those particular storms of dangerous winds, some very heavy rain, possibility of some hail, and an outside chance, not a great chance, but not a zero chance of a tornado. And again, things are shaping up, and as the event gets closer to us, they'll be clearer to us. And as soon as we get new information, maybe our thinking changes or the timing changes, we will do our best to distribute that information out to you. So I'm coming down on about 2.5 minutes left in this stream. Living by the fairgrounds, how bad will the rain and storms be in Mount Vernon? We'll go back to the scan for just a second. You can keep it on the full screen there, Kyle. That's fine. We'll go back to Mount Vernon, Knox County in just a second here. Trying to do this on the fly, and I appreciate your patience. A little bit of inside baseball. That's not what I wanted. That's what happens when you're trying to rush, which I'm trying to do. I'm going to show this to you while we still have a minute left. We are looking at Mount Vernon. Give me a second, by the fairgrounds. So I'm not quite getting down to the street level for the fairgrounds, but we are looking at, here is Sunday morning. You can see around Mount Vernon and Knox County, that rain comes in, very heavy rain. That's 1 a.m., that's after midnight. More moderate to heavy rain through 4 a.m. Sunday. More moderate rain by 7 a.m. in Mount Vernon, and then that area begins to taper off by 10. Then the second wave begins to move through. You're dry till about 10 o'clock, 10, 11, 12, then that passes through Knox County. Please allow us the opportunity to fine-tune this forecast. Don't go telling all your friends and neighbors this is exactly what's going to happen, exactly when. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this stream on 10 TV Plus, is to give you a chance to see a little bit of inside baseball. Matthew, I just saw your question. We're going to back it up for you. Asked about Lewis Center, southern Delaware County. Looks like the worst of it from this storm will be around 9 to 10 p.m. on Sunday. So let's go back to one more graphic, and then we'll wrap it up in the next 50 seconds. We're giving you an opportunity and doing a couple of things, giving you a heads up. And the reason this is super important is because it's our commitment to keep you and your family safe and give you advance notice. This is not set in stone, but we're looking at the very real potential between Sunday 7 p.m. and 2 o'clock in the morning to see some of those strong storms. We want you to be ready. We want you to come to 10 TV for your information, but you need to take a couple things into your own hands. That's having an app, having your phone charged, having the weather emergency alerts enacted on your phone, and having a weather radio or another way to get that information, because you're not going to be able to get it if the phone lines go down. We're going to be back at 11 o'clock with another news and weather and sports update on 10 TV Plus. We'll see you after basketball tonight, and we'll bring you up to speed tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m.